Welcome. This is Crime Queen. If you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love, where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile. Hence, we say the crimson light is life. So you'll know that the crimson light is operating in you when you smile because the word smile equals 22. 22 also is a master number, which also equals the word master. So let's keep smiling through this journey of actualizing self-full love. I would like to continue the presentation on words that equal 10. Of course, 10 is 1 in numerology, but I'm looking at the word 10. I mean the number 10 specifically, because I feel 10 is really showing the charismatic components of whatever is, as IS in numerology also equals 10. Okay. Actually, it's about the only word that I have come across that equals 10 as the word Satan, that I can recall right now. Okay, so talk of Satan. Um, let's be bold and stick him up here. Satan. Okay, so it's one, one, two, one, and five. This is Satan. Wow. Now, I'd like to explore um, this. We have one, one, and trying to make sense out of the idea that the word heaven also equals 10. And words like bright and various other words like, okay, we can understand Satan and hell equal 10 but equaling 10, but heaven, oh my. Okay, anyway, let's look at that. So like to see the characteristics. So we have the highest number we have here is 5. Now that's interesting. That is really interesting. Now, I wouldn't even thought, hmm, that Satan would have made it to that new dimension, which is under the number 5, or to the fifth dimension. Of course, we were told that he was kicked down to earth. So, what's he doing there? Or, of course, we were also told that he was in heaven. Heaven, and no wonder it starts with the number 1 because heaven, let's just stick heaven here. Heaven, 8. Wow, 8. 5, 1, 4, 5, 5. Now, what I already like with this, it begins with 8, heaven, which is headquarters. So we can see that that's where, if we were told that Satan was in heaven and heaven starts with 8, we can see why he came down to do all this jazz on earth. Or we can see that why this number 1 is what begins what Satan is shown with. So the number 8, of course, which looks like a ladder. Now, another thing that came to me with the number 8 and H, it's like this is showing when you stand firm on your feet and you're also maybe with your hands up, praying or, to God in heaven, but you're in heaven anyway. So it's earth, earth, and heaven. Yes. So, okay. So this is 8, and we see. But this is the secret here. I'm already going into the secret because I believe that this constitute the whole sacrificial journey. Satan and heaven come into union, if there is such a thing. But of course, because we see from the word sacrifice, there was cries, there's fries, there's reef, there's all of those elements. Of course, Satan was there. This is what we would say that was Satan was in those aspects. And so 1 and 8 is 9. 1 and 8 is 9. So we see the interplay of Satan here. Now I'm with the notion, I'm going to take this off, that Satan has a very functional role in our lives, whatever we call Satan or however we define him to be or express him. But I am believing, by looking at these numbers now in correspondence to the word sacrifice, I'm just having an inclination or a message, whatever it is, that I should, if I stick the word Satan in accordance under the word, let's see, reveal, something would be revealed. S-A-N, oh, I don't know where N is coming into it, but okay, S-A-T-A-N. So N is 5. So he ends on 5, basically, and he also consists of 5 letters. Now, when we look at the word 10, because we've got this is 5 and 1, 6 and 2, 8, 8 and 2, 10. So we see 10 comes here. So it's as if the message here, which experientially, that was my conclusion, that Satan is actually serving a function to get us into this new dimension, this newness here, which is reflective of number 3, L, L being 3, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So here we would say that this is where we become aware. It's as if we need, sadly, we need the Satan spirit or element to get us to the realization of that new. The 2 here, which is again reflective of 2, and perhaps it's reflective of 2 of whatever else is on this side. So 2 5s are 10. So when we are here, we are halfway, this 5, we are halfway to 10. 10, the sacrifice. Oh my. Okay. Because when we are new, we are in the spirit of Christ and we are new in that spirit, we are feeling, of course, new babes, excited, but also we come to the reality that we have left something behind, 1 to 4, which is the developmental stage that actually got us into new as well. But we become a little bit nervous after a while. It's like, oh my, the old habits that we had cultivated actually being presented everywhere we go. When we look back, and not so much that we have to look back, remember, we are reminded of those because there's a mirror in folks to that which we had left behind. The mirror aspect is there. So this is where sometimes we backslide because we can't seem to make we can't seem to differentiate which side of this we are on, or whether we are on this side, we tend to like the familiarity of what we have already known. So this I'm seeing is the function of Satan. he functions in this area, although there is a lot of sacredness happening here. But because we have all this jazz that we have immersed in, we are not very clear altogether of this dimension. So much is happening in four, so much development. We are trying to make sense of head or tail or left or right and all those polarities. And that's what that four is about. Four is that head um, of a that peak of trying to make sense of whatever it is we are endeavoring to do. And we can see that in that process, Satan is in that number five. Hence, there was a text saying that when Christ went to pray, and there was something that Satan said, if you are the Son of God, why don't you turn those stones into bread? So, of course, there was a new thing happening here for Christ because he had already fasted, which coincides with number four, 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. There was a development happening here again. So we see that the number 40 is being presented here. But what would Satan have to do with Christ at that stage? Because Christ was, of course, he had fasted, he had prayed, but however, Satan was still there. There was still that presence in that new state. So in that new state, what is happening? There seems to be a transparency that a new state also denotes the number 10, which is hidden. I say hidden because there is a, I think I've just got something. It's as if I had not have the inclination to change is also serving as another mathematical equation that I don't often use. I've been adding, but it also is saying 2 fives are 10. This is what I am seeing here. Because 2 fives are 10. 2 sixes, 12. Let's see if that 12 divided by, this is interesting. This is interesting because 12, 6 and 6 is 12. Okay, but this is what I am getting here now. And of course, as we go along, because this is the template, we will discover a little bit more about it. But we would say, well, what business has Satan got to do in this new state, in this new era? And so one has to be with open-eyed here to be able to make that distinction from left and right, up and down. And I believe that that is the function of this man here. Man, of course, is man. So we tend to think of Satan outside of us, but this is really showing that Satan is part of our makeup. Because if we do MAN, we have 4, 1, and 5. We are still showing the 5 here is in direct correspondence with this N here where Satan ends. And I love the way this is also showing, like in man, again, this is showing that we are in the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 elements, all of what 4 represents, but also we have to take into consideration the one from 1 to 5. 1 to 5 is also the number 6, which is also the number of man. Wow, this is beautiful. So wherever we are on the spectrum, in fact, this should really be offering a um, a template, but also with a mathematical equation that helps us to know where we are at any given point on this spectrum of sacrifice, because we are always sacrificing. Also, what I wanted to do is pay attention to the letters where they fall in line with Revelation. And what has come to mind is to see how, of course, we see how. So, one, because he knows the whole journey, if you like. So he's got the job to be sending us to that point where we are able to learn how to do this journey of sacrifice, pay our dues, and of course, grow. So there we are. This is what Revelation is doing. Here with S, it's like an indication of the nine that we are meant to be exploring through that sacrificial point. Then we have that one. 1 and 5 is 6. 1 and 5 is 6. Then we have 2 and 4 is also 6 here. Then we have 1 and 5 is 6. And then we have 5 and 3 is 8. Now, isn't that an interesting number? I don't know if I need to say anything much, because we have been talking a lot about 666. And so this is what I am seeing, that Revelation is really helping us to see the true nature of whatever it is that we are endeavoring to uncover. So we see, however, no matter where we are at, we can still be infinite beings here in the end. And so we can take comfort when Satan, which is what happened to Christ, because he was tempting Christ to change the bread into wine, the stones into bread, sorry. And so, because Christ was hungry, this is where we get hungry. When we are new, we are hungry for whatever it is. We are hungry to understand our environment. We are hungry to get to the next point. We are eager. And so that's the point here. But that we add with the number 3 here in Revelation. Revelation is serving here as a template. It consists of 10 letters, which is in direct correlation with the number 10 of Satan. Wow, wow. So there we have this 666, and Satan is really here, because when we are near Satan, we are also near that height of where we are intending to be. It's as if this is where they say there is it's a thin line between love and hate. This is the thin line between love and hate. 1 and 9. S and R. Here, the jazz and R. You play your jazz here, you pay your inland revenue dues. And this is so comforting, because in here this equation reminds us that we are in headquarters. We go to the headquarters. We are in a position where we have done the whole cycle, because 3 sixes are 18 equals 9. So in that state of having that 666, it being in Satan, if you like, or Satan being in you, whichever way you want to look at it, it is also telling us that there is always the seed of good in whatever it is, or whatever state we are in. There is the seed of good. There is the man in there. I was going to say the three aspects of man: body, mind, and spirit. These are in there, three dimensions. This is delicious. And this is just one aspect of what we are here to learn. So we see again that one here is also corresponding, as I say, with it's really, I'm looking at 8 here, and yes, 1 and 9 is also already telling us the state and condition of Satan, which is 10. So 1 and 9 is 10. And of course, 5 and 3 is 8. So it is saying that 10 is really number 1, and here is number 8. So our journey is really, in actual fact, from 1 to 8. As long as we are able to do 1 to 8, we are able to see heaven and earth, then we are happy to pay our dues to the Inland Revenue without fuss. And it's no wonder that from this point here, 1 to 9, it would have been about this point, I imagine, when God said to Satan, "Are you considering my servant Job?" That's another presentation. Okay, so just to let you know, because the word Job is Job, and it's also equals the number 9. So I am hoping that you have found this informative. I am hoping that you have found this fun. And if you like this presentation, remember to click the like button and share, because this is how we do it. We share to actualize in self-love. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay bright, and stay ignited. Namaste.